everyone, and welcome back to the Big Bods. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. This week it's city update time. Now I sound quite excited about that, but actually city updates are really hard. I don't know if it's just the type of city updates we're doing at the moment, like building tables and moving literally everything around, but it's so many decisions, so much physical moving, it's just a lot. So this update is not necessarily going to be as big as I was hoping for, but let's have a quick reminder of what we had at the end of our last city update so we can see where we've gone. So if you remember, we went from having 4 tables originally to then getting 7 new tables in our last city update. We set them all out and we got all of our Lego sets out and arranged. So we had our winter village in the corner, our Ewok village sort of park area, a few sets over in our fairground area ready to to lay out and work out where we were going to put things. We were still building the roller coaster. A few modulars on either side of the room, a whole expanse of tables ready for the sea, and then in sort of coral reef and underwater shipwreck area as well. We talked about having tables in the middle, so that's where we're probably going today. Small spoiler there. But yeah, that's pretty much where we left it. So everything was out on the tables. It was very sort of sparse and it needed some connecting up and some filling out and a few more tables just to make better use of the room. So since then we've done a lot of building in the fairground area. We bought the roller coaster, the Ferris Wheel, the carousel. We're just starting the Disney castle, or halfway through the Disney castle. And it soon became clear that these were beasts of sets. They weren't going to fit in the fairground area that we'd allotted. And so we really needed to solve that problem. That's the problem that this city update is trying to fix. So you can see here's the roller coaster on the table that we had. So it's a 120 by 60 Linnmon from Ikea. You've got the roller coaster, you've got the train track that we're trying to get round as the standing hole. And there's just no room for like a thoroughfare or a pathway for the people who are visiting the fairground to actually get past. And that's an issue. So we headed back to Ikea. We've got a few stock issues in Ikea over in the UK at the moment. So we couldn't get all the tables that we wanted. We had to get some in an alternative colour. And we've actually stolen a lot of tables from elsewhere in the room to make this work. But once again, here's our Ikea haul in the back of our car. Again, excellently packed by Ian. A couple of things there that are for elsewhere in the house. So those boxes on the top, those are for one of the kids' rooms. Everything else is for the Lego City. So building tables in a room that's already full of tables and doesn't really have any floor space, not the easiest. So the first step was to clear a lot of the tables. So you can see that everything ended up over on the C tables. It's looking pretty cramped here actually in these pictures. And we needed to lower some of the legs on some of the tables we already had so that we could get them underneath. So we've got a different type of leg. You can see the silver ones. Those are actually from Amazon. They're like 50 centimetre legs, I think, tall. You can't get those from Ikea. Couldn't find them anywhere else actually. They're not great legs. I wouldn't recommend them. But I will link them up if you do want them because they work well for the height difference that we need. So here's one of the tables with those legs on. As you can see, it's chaos in the room. This is a brown topped one because it's going to go under the city. You're not going to really see it. So we figured we could get away with it and we couldn't get it in white. So that's going underneath the city. So you can't quite see it here, but it is there underneath. And then we've got the smaller legs. I think they're called Capita legs from Ikea. Those then rest the second level of tables onto the bottom layer, give us that grounding for our subway train. So essentially what we've done is taken tables that we were using to house our Lego and like really useful surfaces and also our live streaming area, and we've hidden it underneath the city. So if you look at the city now, we've got less space than we did before, and so it is literally chaos. So I'll see if I can give you a quick idea of what the room is really looking like. So we've got a bit of a box graveyard over here. Winter Village is untouched and probably one of the happiest areas. We've got, there's those 2 levels of tables there. Live stream stuff all over the place where we've been trying to sort of make it work. And so you can see at the back we now have a tiny table, which is just a shelf with legs on. I think it's a 120 by 30 centimetre shelf. I'll try and work out what it was from Ikea, but we stuck some Adils on it and made it into a table. It's very wobbly. So there's the other table underneath. So we've got the two tables here underneath the main city. This is our live streaming area, completely ruined, essentially. This is our very small passageway now to get up and down. A sea of sets all shoved into the corner to try and make space. And then we've got a dilemma here because we've moved this table forward. If we opened our bathroom door, which we need to do because that's, as I pointed out before, our main shower in the house, it's essentially going to hit that table. But it fits nicely now, but Ian wants to move the whole thing 2 more studs towards the door. So further shrinking this area, but that would give us a better amount of base plate capability, so we wouldn't have to have like half a base plate, or it apparently fits better, but it's a lot more effort because we had to level all the tables as well, and you can tell I'm a bit fed up at this, but it's going to look awesome at the end, I'm sure. And you can see this area, missing table that were there before, so we are waiting for Ikea to get those back in stock. But yeah, not fun. Okay, so you may have noticed that I've not been enjoying the process of this city update, but actually I'm super excited to show you where we are at the end. I think this is the thing with city updates, they just suddenly come together and you think, actually this is some really good progress that we've made. I tried to film this from inside the standing hole, but I'm right in the way. So this is the corner of the room where the fairground was before. You can see I got standing hole just there. So we've got so much more depth in that fairground, which is going to allow us to sort of pack it all in, but also have space for people to walk about, and have like little areas to sort of set up scenes and things. We've got some sort of mock-ups at the moment of plans. So you can see the Disney castle over there has been raised up on a whole bunch of burps. Those burps are actually destined for the sea area. You've been saved from a really boring brick hall because Ian already opened those, and that was all that was in the package, so you can thank Ian for that. But that's just to sort of help us to visualise the height there. Obviously we haven't finished building the Disney castle, so it's still not easy to visualise, but I think we're probably going to go up sort of the same again with the Disney castle, so another level up, because we want our fairground to have lots of different heights in it. That's kind of the plan, because of both of the fairgrounds we used to go to as kids. That was their selling point, or not selling point, because actually it was always hard work walking up and down the hills, but that's the thing that makes them different, I feel. So that's what we're trying to sort of recreate. So we've got the roller coaster there. We're not entirely sure if that's where it's going to stay, but that's where it is for now. And again, these are all just temporary placements, trying to work out our space. I think we're happy with our train loop now. So it kind of has a straight there so we can put the station on. That's the Disney station. But then it goes around the corner. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to put in that slot there where Diagon Alley currently is, or one of the Diagon Alley shops is. And towards the other side we've got like a weird loop as well, so that we can get a station in the centre of our city, to sort of link our 2 train lines that we're planning together. So we've got the haunted house over in that corner. That is going to go up another level, I believe, just because we've got a little bit more space. We've got a few mocks that we want to still put in. We're nowhere near having designed those. We've also got the table going right up into the corner. We've still got some space on there. So it's looking like we've got more room to play with, which is a bad thing to tell me, because then I'll just buy more sets to put in. And I don't think that's a good idea. We are ditching one of the sets that we've built, I think. I guess you can let me know what you think, but this one, it doesn't seem like it's worth its space. It takes up quite a lot of space, and I just don't know where really to put it. It might come back in, but I'm not feeling it. It's not an exciting ride. I might just take some of the parts out and add them to other bits maybe. But yeah, the next plan is to start working on the bumper cars and the ghost train, sort of the mocks that we want to put in, and get those sort of planned out so we can get them in. I've also got tiling to put down, so I've done some mock-ups of tiling, and I'll try and get some of that in. But tiling before you've got the final positions seems a little bit of a waste of time, so I probably won't do that for a bit, but I can show you the colours. So that's what we're planning on having for sort of pathways that are sort of little routes, like the big squares, and then any open areas will sort of have that kind of effect, which I quite like. So that is our final plan for tiles. I say final, I don't mean final. We also need to put an entrance in to our fairground, so we're going to have the train station as one of the entrances, but then over here from the other side of the city we're going to need to put in an entranceway, so we'll have to work on that as well. There's so many things to work on. I think we could probably spend all year on this. I'll try not to, mainly because I want to get on with the other stuff. It's massive. And I think it looks really good, the fact that we've pulled the tables out now. It's definitely opened things up a lot more. So I did promise during the next city update that I would show you a view of the recoloured Ferris wheel. So here it is, all in rainbow colours. If you remember, I have different dishes for the top. So like the spiderweb dishes, as you can see on the red and the orange ones sort of down here. And I wasn't sure how to lay them out. I thought maybe I'd have to alternate sort of webbed, non-webbed, webbed, non-webbed. But actually, I figured if I'd gone to the effort to get the rainbow colours, if I put them in anything other than rainbow order, it's going to look silly. And actually, from here, I don't think you can really tell that it's webbed. So I think having it that you've got 2 webbed ones next to each other isn't really an issue. I think it looks really bright and colourful. I'm quite happy about it. In the ticket booth down here, just where my finger is, you've got the previous sort of colour scheme, the blue, purple, yellow, and so that doesn't really match anymore. But actually I think it's such a small detail that it really doesn't matter. So that's what it looks like with the colours. I do have some other modifications to show you about the Ferris wheel, actually. I don't know if you notice how flush against the wall it is, but I will quickly show you this pile of parts that Ian has essentially ripped off of the Ferris wheel. So he's taken off 2 of the support arms from the back. So the Ferris wheel has got like a frame with, I'd say an A-frame, but it doesn't have the crossbar. But 2 of these, and then at a different angle another 2 to make a nice steady support. And he reckoned that was just overkill. So he took half of that off. And what that did was allow us to take actually these base plates off as well. So it's taken a lot of depth out of the ride, and it allows us to put it up a lot closer to that wall, which is nice. He's also taken large parts of the mechanism out. So there's the handle as well. and reconfigure the mechanism, because again that stuck out the back, so that was stopping us from putting it flush against the wall. And he's reconfigured the mechanism so it's right at the front. So I will show you. It's just down here, and these are actually the circuit cubes motors that we've got there, because again the smaller footprint and the cheaper motors. So I'll just get it going so we can have a quick look at it in action, just to make sure he hasn't broken it. Another reason we moved the motor to the front, I don't know if you saw, my crazy little hand just appeared there, is that's how we can reach it to turn it on. So I tried to turn it on with a long stick. In fact, I tried to use one of these leftover arms, but it just snapped because it's made out of bricks and it's not really good for that. But Ian's left it so that I can crawl under the table and stick my hand out that hole at the moment. I don't know how that will work once we put like all the stairs in between the two levels, but I can stick my hand in and turn it on and off at the moment, so that's really helpful. I think it looks fab. I'm really happy we made those adjustments. So I hope you've enjoyed our city update this week. I don't know how long before we'll do the next one. We'll try and do it sort of every 3 months at least, but probably sooner, because we've kind of got the bug now to get this finished. It's looking really good, and I'm super excited to move the next stage, especially like the Disney castle. I think I'm looking forward to finishing that off and raising up and getting some things round the bottom. So do check back to see our progress. Can check in on our live streams on a Tuesday. Let me know also in the comments below if there's any suggestions you've got for ways we can make this better, or rearranging the sets to make them flow a bit better, because nothing's pushed down yet. This is just our first attempt. You've got to start somewhere, and I think it definitely has improved from before. So I'm excited, and I hope you are excited too. If you want to see all of the sets that we've built to make the Fairground so far, then you can check out our Lego Fairground playlist. And also don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an update. See you later.